Welcome to Together We Rise,
starring mother-daughter dynamic duo Alicia Schwartz
and Rochelle Schwartz
in collaboration with MAPS Global Events. Signing off.
Mwah.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how is everybody doing? Because we're doing pretty good, right?
We are.
Oh, yes, we are.
We are back again
Yes.
for another amazing podcast, and we have a special guest, right?
Yes, we certainly do. But before we get to introduce this very special guest,
Yes.
would you like to know who we are?
That would be a good idea.
We're going to tell you. I am Coach Rochelle.
And I am Coach Alicia Schwartz.
And we are
The mother-daughter dynamic duo.
Whoop, whoop. And it's such an honor to be here this evening and to remember that Mother's Day is Sunday.
And it's a big day, right?
Yeah. And all you mothers, just take it in because the work that we do is incredible. And no directions or pamphlets come with these children. And so we are honored to be here and to share with you today's podcast, Together We Rise. And Alicia's laughing, and I'm not quite sure why. But I will give her the free rein.
Also, if there are moms out there that are dog moms too.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're right.
Dog mom.
That is true.
But we are excited that it is Mother's Day. And if your mom isn't here, we send you love. And we hope that you have just celebrate your mom, even if she's not here, just the memories you had together. So what we're going to do now is...
Why don't you tell them a little bit about Together We Rise?
Together We Rise is all about bringing people on that really share their stories and their trials and their tribulations and how they got to and through the other side of whatever their life's experience brought them. And our mission is to support women and going through various stages of life, but really just support people through hopefully getting hope, inspiration, right? Love from this. We've had some really great people.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to have great people. So keep watching. And let's go talk about, now Nim is going to bring up our video. And the video that we have, have Jessie Campo, who is a composer, writer, singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she wrote a song just for us because she was on our last podcast for our show. So you'll see it. Jessie Campo wrote our music.
She's so talented and she's walked the red carpet and she's very, very, very special to us.
So Nim, can you play our video?
Looking through the pages of our lives as we start out on this journey. Everywhere we look, a different sign, telling us where we will go. Feel the sunlight shining in your eyes, and the wind that's blowing through me.
Oh God, I can listen to that song forever and ever. That's how talented
opens
Jessie
your
is.
heart and-
Wow.
Especially when Yeah, well, there we go.
Here we go.
So before we introduce our amazing guest, my mom is going to read something from our mentor and teacher, a great late Debbie Ford, Your Holiness. Amazing. And so go right ahead.
It's called the Holy Elixir. Let me be God's alchemist. Let me turn water into wine, mud into gold, and my wounds into wisdom. Let me know a grateful heart. And I think that really says it all.
And we just saw on
Oh,
our screen
Greg.
Greg Riccardi.
Oh,
Hi,
my
Greg.
God.
We love Greg. Oh my God, he's a near dear friend. Lives
Go
in
back
New York.
many
We go
years.
back in
He's
a long time.
He's a great photographer
Yes,
and video
videographer.
Yep.
He's amazing.
So thanks for
Thanks
being
for coming,
here.
Greg.
That's a nice gift. I take that into my heart, sweetheart. Thank you for coming.
All
Okay.
right. So let's introduce our lovely, amazing guest, Sabrina.
Come on down, baby.
Come on up to the screen. Woohoo! Protic. All right, Sabrina Protic. Here she
Yes.
is.
Hello, ladies. Hello.
Hello.
And how are you doing today?
I am happy today. I did some giving today, so that just made me happy.
Aw.
Isn't it great?
I was just
It
gonna
really
say,
is.
it just opens you so wide when
Yeah.
you give.
You know, if more people open themselves to giving, they would be receiving so much love. And I mean, it's so the energy of giving and receiving it's so beautiful. And I sometimes don't understand why people don't. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And you just get back so much more. Now, I'm the kind of person where I like to give without being asked, if that makes a difference. If someone comes to me and says, I need $25, and I'm like, so do I.
Yeah, really.
So do
Let's
I.
exchange.
I'll take that. Yeah, I take Cash App. I take everything. But that's an ask, and maybe that's not even a need. That's someone that's maybe, I won't say preying on you, but it just doesn't feel good. But when
Yeah.
you discern a need, if you say, hey, there was a hurricane here, and food, clothing, shelter, even money, that's a perception of a need. There are some organizations that are doing some really good things, but they might actually be top heavy too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at where my little dollars can make a big difference, or my time, my resources, volunteering, where that little bit can make a big difference. That's when I feel good.
Absolutely.
100%.
And so I love the title that you chose for the podcast, and that was Choose Out Tomorrow Carefully. And really, I don't think many people do that, to be very honest. And so what does that actually mean?
Well, we've talked about our past, and if I had made better choices, my outcome would have been different. My whole entire life would have been different. So let's go back to when we really can make decisions. Well, by state, age 18 to 21 is when you can make independent decisions away from your parents and the laws. You can make decisions. And we take those decisions so lightly, so lightly. Let's start. One of the biggest decisions we make is, dating someone.
Oh, so true.
Right? You start to like somebody. And that's one of the first independent decisions you make, besides maybe buying a car or whatever. But we're
Right.
talking about serious decisions. Just who we date
It's
can
huge.
change our whole trajectory. Wouldn't you agree?
100%.
Woohoo!
And as you grow, your choices change,
Change.
right? Because you're growing emotionally. You're hopefully learning lessons of what you were creating that doesn't work. So you create something new. And as you evolve, you create someone where you are all the time.
And I think that parents should have these conversations with our children early.
100%.
And I don't ever recall my mother having a relationship conversation with me. Did it happen between the two of you?
No, because my parents were so unhappy that they could never say anything. All they did was fight.
But you talked to us about, you talked to us as you were going through your
Right.
relationship.
Just going through it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what you don't want to create to what you
Correct.
want to create. You want to make sure your choices are, reflecting on really working
Yeah.
on you, always kind of working on yourself, so that you create a better relationship with whoever you're going to create it with.
Yeah, it's really, it's so true. I mean, but then I really believe that the choices we make at those particular times are our lessons to be learned.
Totally.
Boy, do we learn them.
Oh, you hope,
honey.
you hope so.
Boy, do you hope so.
That is for sure.
That really is true.
Yes,
You
yes.
really, really do.
So I'm going to go back to, of course, the guy I married wasn't the first guy I dated, but he might have been the second, third guy. Because, you have crushes and things like that. And it's a scary time, too. It was for me because, who is this guy? Do I like him? Do I love him? What's going on with my own emotions and whatever? But those are the seedlings for the rest of your life, whether it's good or bad decisions. So looking back, there were red flags. I mean, I'm
Oh, yeah.
talking about some serious red flags. It's like we're gonna call them flares.
Those big torches.
Right.
Torches, girl, torches going up. But we, I didn't know that, what those things meant.
Yeah.
So here's a I was thinking back on an illustration. So I'm dating this guy. He's a couple years younger than me, maybe 4 years younger, and I was already young. So he was 19, and I might have been 23, 24. So he has this Camaro with the T-tops. It was
I remember those.
Yeah, T-top. And so we're riding along the beach. This really should be a commercial. And the T-tops are off, and he says, "Wow." He says, "This is the best life ever." So I thought he was talking about me. He was with me. And I'm thinking, oh, this feels so romantic. This is the best life ever. He says, "Here I am riding along the beach in my Indy pace car with the T-tops down." It was all about his car.
Nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with me at all. And he was in heaven in his car.
Isn't that
And
interesting?
it was never me.
That was the telltale sign, right?
And I married the guy. I married the guy. It was never about me and his relationship with me. It was about the things around him. And I was crushed at that moment. I'm like, what? Well, where am I in this whole scenario?
Yeah.
And I never was, because he was too young to connect with me and understand relationships. I didn't see that. And I thought, well, he'll grow into those shoes. And don't ever, I see Rochelle shaking her head. Don't ever think someone's to grow into what you want them to be. That's not going to happen.
Nope.
Boy, never does.
Whew, that is like going
it's a
down.
Signpost for disaster.
God, it is.
Really.
It really, really is. And
that's a disaster.
God,
it is.
And so I'm thinking, well, he's 19. He'll grow into this man. No, that was the man in the making. And I cannot blame him. So I'm taking responsibility for my decision and my choices, which were not good, because I didn't take my future seriously enough to say, hey, this is going to be the father of my children. This is going to be head of household. If you believe in that, people have different feelings about that, but this is going to be the man that I'm going to be residing with and making financial decisions with. And one of his first decisions was he wanted a dune buggy.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking, a dune buggy, we need to buy a car so we have reliable transportation and I don't get wet from the rain. And what are we going to do with a dune buggy? He want to be riding around in a dune buggy with me.
Oh my God.
Wow.
But who made that decision? I did. To align myself with him.
That's right.
And there would be a series of things that would happen, financial, all types of things, because of the decisions that I made. Now, he was a handsome guy. He's a good looking guy. So I was just kind of smitten,
Mm.
but I wasn't using common sense.
Right.
Yeah, the looks took you.
The looks took me, and
Yeah.
I hear, because I raised a daughter now. I hear young girls, oh, he's a hot guy. I want a hot guy. I'm
Hmm.
thinking, you're gonna get a hot mess too.
That's right. That's true. And
It
it's not to
is.
say they're not good looking guys that are nice too.
Right.
But there is a thing about that for sure. The physical,
Yeah.
when it's just all physical, it's
It-
it is a disaster
Yeah.
because you don't know them emotionally. You don't know anything about them. It was a disaster for someone I know very well. Big disaster.
I see Rochelle. I'm looking at her eyes right now, and they're like doing this computer thing going on. So, what are you thinking, Rochelle?
Mark
Mark
Siegel.
Siegel.
You know,
Hi, Mark.
I didn't know what love was. I had no idea. I was like, so whoever came that I thought would give me just a little bit, I thought it was love. But
Mm.
what I also knew, and I'm going back, oh God, many years ago, I thought love was sex because that's where I came from. I never saw touching and speaking nicely. I just heard fighting and cursing, and but I did know they had an incredible sex life.
They
So
did?
I must have pulled
Wow.
on that, thinking
Mhm.
that was love. So that's what I went into.
You went in for the physical.
I
first.
went into the physical,
Physical.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
There
a
was
lot of
fighting in
people
my
do.
household too.
Yeah, I mean, I did too, for a very long time, and now I'm not, but I did. I
Yeah.
did for a very long time.
So you
But
thought
then-
that's what love was.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I can't say that because I did attract one man when I
Yes,
was
you did.
22.
What happened to
I did-
that?
Well, I wasn't ready for that.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. I wish you could go back and say, I wish I was, but when you're not ready, you're not ready.
Yes.
I'm going to agree with that because there was a guy that would have made a wonderful husband for me,
Mhm. Yep.
and I was intimidated. I don't know, I just wasn't ready, and to this day he's friends with my mom and family and everything. He says, I tried to rush her, she wasn't ready,
Yes.
and he did, and I look back and I thought that would have been such a great relationship for me because
Oh,
he is a
I feel
great
the
man,
same.
Yep.
Yep.
but
I
I wasn't ready.
I said
It
if I
is.
could pick a guy just like that now,
Yes.
perfect,
Oh.
because he was such an amazing man. He really was.
Yeah, he certainly was.
And a man. He wasn't like a little boy.
No.
Yes,
He was
same
really
here.
cool.
He was a man. He was a man.
Yeah.
So we're learning some things here.
Yeah.
Women need a little bit of time, to come into our space,
Yeah.
but we also have to make these choices in our life very seriously. Don't be so quick to jump into a permanent relationship. I really think there should be, I hear people meeting and they become a couple inside of 2-3 months. They just met, they
Yep.
move in together. If some of them get married, you don't even know that person.
Yep.
Or you also find that they get married young
Yes.
and one grows and the other one doesn't, and then they divorce, right? So
And that happens.
a lot.
It
you know?
happens a lot. So
Yeah, it
making
does.
making decisions, when you're young, permanently impact your life. You have children, you got babies.
Absolutely.
Now imagine you're starting a family with someone that you really don't have anything in common with.
Let's get in the dune buggy.
Yep.
Let's get the new bucket where they're gonna sit. And I'm thinking,
Put on your backpack.
Yeah.
You could backpack
a
them.
backpack. It's crazy where they're gonna sit and how are you gonna live and where are you gonna live. So you already there's a disconnect there. It's being unevenly yoked. Is what it is. Like you picture two horses and they're yoked together and one's pulling the other. And that's what's
Totally.
happening. So you're trying to make decisions. Go ahead, somebody.
Yeah. So out of all of that, from that marriage, what was the biggest lesson that you learned from that marriage?
About yourself. Right?
About you, yeah.
Well, I learned, first of all, that marriage to me is not a romantic decision. it's not based on romance, because there's different types of love. You know that there's agape,
Yes, there
there's
is.
familia. What was the other one? I forget the other one. But anyway, so when you're joining forces with someone and you're making you're making a united decision, it's really not a romantic decision. It's agape love based on principle. So for me, what I learned, and this is not only with a mate but also relationships, networking, that
Isn't.
it's a relationship based on principle, but a friendship. It's a friendship. Like we've made a friendship.
Yes.
Yes.
We've made a friendship.
Yeah.
So my second marriage, it had to be a friendship first,
Yeah.
not romance.
Yep.
It had to be friendship. I have to actually like you. You
Yeah.
have to like me. And I have to like things about you. And you have to like things about me, because the rest is not going to work. It's not going to work unless there's respect. That's in a friendship as well. There has to be respect, um, dignity, no judgment, and an acceptance
Yeah.
of who that person is, and a willingness to still be friends, whether it's opposite sex, same sex, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. That has to be there. So what I got out of that was valuing friendships and establishing a friendship first
Mhm.
before you move to the next level of um, a permanent relationship with someone. What do you think?
Well, yeah, because I see it now. It's like what happened. I remember when I was young, it was very organic.
Yes, it
You didn't
was.
just jump into bed, or you didn't just, go physical first. You really got to know the person and develop a level of trust. Like, who is this person I'm, being friends with? You don't even know. And today, everything is so fast paced,
Oh my goodness,
with
yes.
the internet and the dating sites. And I think it's all great, but there's not enough time to land organically to meet someone and just get to know and forget about the physical for now. Do we
Just get
even
to
like
know.
hanging out? Do we have the
There you
same
go.
interests? Do we have fun? Do we laugh? It's just so different. And I think that's, for me, that's been the hard part, because I want to get to know someone. I don't want to just dive into physical. I want a good friendship.
Yeah.
You want to build that. You want to have fun and laugh. When you go physical first, you don't know who you're with. You have no idea.
Boy, is that the truth. And that's what I
No idea.
It's true, but it's also generational.
Yes.
From the time when I met my ex-husband, I was 16.
Oh wow.
I was a baby and married at 20, and then had my first daughter at 23. It was like, and there were total signs along the way.
Yeah, like the minute you walked.
Right, before I even got married, it's true. Before I
Stay
went down the aisle, it's so true. But what did I know? I mean, I figured he'd take care of me for the rest of my life. What a surprise that was. And it was the greatest gift that I gave myself because of that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it was the greatest gift because I wanted to be taken care of, and I stepped into a pot of crap,
Mhm.
basically. And, it was high, it was low. He made it, he lost it, he made it, he lost it. There was no security
There's no stability.
and stability. So, it was like, when's the next shoe going to drop?
Yes, yes.
And walking on eggshells and having houses taken away and cars taken away in the middle of the night, and then living with roach infested on in the
Sheets on the
house
wall.
with. I mean, it's in my memoirs.
It's a trail.
Yeah,
It's a trail. But it was because of your decisions. Now you made a
Oh,
decision.
yes.
Yeah, it was the decisions that you made. And that's what we're saying. The message here today, and I hope women of all ages and men too are listening. Take these decisions seriously. Weigh it out. Fast forward and look at your future. from
Make-
making decisions about where to live. You just mentioned houses taken away, cars taken away.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, those financial impacts of loss because of the decisions that we made
Yep.
and who we decided to align our lives with.
Correct.
You know, our teacher mentor used to say, every choice matters, right?
Yeah, every
choice we
choice.
make. So a choice from 20 years ago affects you today. It doesn't just like go away. Oh, I made the choice, that financial choice, and now I'm still in debt. Or, oh, you know what I mean? I met that
Oh,
guy
yes.
and,
Yeah.
you know, I still have residual scars or whatever it is, right? So it's exactly what you're saying. Every choice that we make matters.
It absolutely does. And it's a ripple effect in every area of your life.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and you're exactly right. I've noticed that so many women have double last names. So, because they've been married before,
Yeah.
Yep.
they have these double last names, which means that they didn't make a good decision.
Correct.
There might be some time in there with someone else. There are more step families than ever before.
That
And
is
that is because, I'm sorry, that's coming from another device. That is because of the decisions that were made that weren't the best. I
Yeah.
mean, it is astronomical. There are men marrying women. The men don't even have any children. They're marrying women with children, vice versa. Women are marrying men with children. Maybe they don't have any, but all these
yes.
broken relationships. Do you see that? So many broken relationships.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's
They
a part of
haven't
them
looked at
that's
themselves.
broken.
Yeah.
You know, if they could look in the mirror and say, wait, where am I broken?
Because
Where am I
that's
still broken?
That's
You
where the
know,
healing
and that's where
starts.
it really, right? It's
Yeah.
where it starts, right? It has to start within yourself.
It starts within yourself. So now my son, I have two adult kids. They're in their 30s.
Sorry.
And my son says, Mom, you know, you divorced. I divorced his dad. And he says, I don't want that.
Mhm.
He says, marriage is supposed to be forever. And I said, it should be if you take the amount of time and you take it seriously. But we were young and we weren't thinking about making a house together and making a life together. We just like, he's cute, she's cute, you know, and we got married and I was so busy picking out a wedding dress and what was his suit going to look like, because we got caught up in having a wedding and all of that, and not thinking about the next day after, like, what was his life going to look like? So he's like, I don't know. And I said, well, take your time. Take your time. Now he's what I call a good catch. He's a guy, man, got a responsible job. He's early 30s and he's taking his time. But now this is where he's at. So he's in his 30s and the women are under the age of 30, in their 20s, and the girls want to bar hop
Yeah.
and they just want to have a good time. They want to foolishness.
Yeah.
Foolishness. They're not even ready or capable of making these serious decisions that we're talking about right now. So he says, Mom, there's not much out there because the girls under 30, at least 18 to 25, they're like we were back then, making the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
not the kind of woman that he wants to marry.
Of course.
Now, the women 25 to 30, they got that last name already because they got kids and they've been married and divorced.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
They've been married and divorced and they got a family.
Yep.
And he's like, well, I don't want a ready-made. But anybody that has really got their mind set, their focus and whatever, they've got kids.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
So
And
that's kind of where he's at. Now he's dating a girl right now, but it took him a while to find that person that's serious about their money. That's important.
It is.
Because he has worked hard to earn his.
Yeah.
So someone that's serious about their money, has some idea about what they want to do for a career. They're not in massive amounts of debt because he's not.
Yeah.
So being aligned in so many areas, concerned about how they eat and where they live, and so he's got it. He knows. But finding that person
Totally.
that's like that, and Alicia, we were talking about that because I see you smiling. Finding that person, right?
Yeah.
Yes, indeedy.
And I still have, I always have faith that, you'll attract it. You will attract it. I'm like a true believer that, when you're ready and your energy is aligned with what you want, and again, writing out what you want, right? Being really specific on what kind of person you're looking for. I want even to specific, like I want them to be 6'1". I want them to have brown or salt pepper hair. I want them to be clean and hygiene. I'm talking detailed.
That
And
does matter.
it
That
does.
does
It
matter.
does matter. I kind of had that grocery list, so to speak, and they had to be tall,
Mhm.
and I pictured them with gray hair. And you've met my husband;
Oh, yes.
he's got white hair.
Yes, he does.
Now I'm gonna give a disclaimer here. I didn't. My vision wasn't that he was gonna be a white man.
But I want to say something before you say that,
What?
because I think it's important to have the list of what you're looking for, but then give it over to God's will.
Yeah, I did kind of
Because you
get
don't
that.
want to have an expectation either. Like,
Right.
you know what you want, but what if God shows you this person and you're looking at your list and everything's there, but you can't see it because you're still looking at the list.
You're still looking at the
Yeah.
list.
But
That's
it's
true.
right there. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a funny thing how
I guess it's not to have a tight
expectation
hold on it
Yeah.
and just
Let it
release it
go.
and let it go.
Let it
But I
go.
also think to get to that, you need to, I believe, fall in love with who you are.
Yeah.
Fall in love with who we are individually.
Correct.
I
'Cause
believe you
that's
do
the
have to love
energy.
yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely.
And accept yourself.
Right. Yes.
During my courtship with my husband, we started out as friends, and so because of that, I wasn't expecting anything of him. He wasn't expecting anything of
Such a
me.
great thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, you're gonna set me up and sit me down and all that. I wasn't looking at that. So
Mhm.
we had fun together. We took dance lessons together.
I love it.
I went canoeing for the first time. I had never done that. And the boat tipped over and we laughed about it. It was fun. I couldn't be all glam on the water. But we would I took a tire and sailed across some water and fell in the river. He said, "Oh, Sabrina, you can do it." And I'm like, wow. So we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We did fun things together. And that's what bonded us. And we're still that way.
And it's so important. You're saying something that's so important. Like you said earlier, if you don't know who you are, within
Within
yourself, and you have no idea what you're looking for, you don't know what your likes are, you don't know who you are, you're going to keep attracting that. You were
Yes.
clear
Yeah.
after your last relationship what no longer served you and the lessons, God willing, you've learned, which you have,
Oh, I have.
to create a
What you have
man
now.
with what you
Yeah.
are, where you are today, because you were clear.
Yes.
Yes. So
But go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
there were two guys in my life at the time. And so my husband was the older man, settled and seasoned. And then there was this city slicker, good looking guy. Not that my husband isn't good looking, okay?
Another one.
But he had the guns and he was handsome. He had more gel in his hair than I had in mine. He was just like a hot rock body, right? And so I was friends with both of them. We were all hanging out. Now, this became the defining moment. This became the difference. Like, they're both at my house. Anytime there was something that needed to be done at my house, the real handsome guy says, "You need to get that fixed." The
Interesting.
guy I married said,
Going.
"Let me fix that."
Yeah.
Yes,
See the
that's the one you
difference?
want. Yes.
That's the one you want. So I began to see, like, there's one that would take care of me.
Yeah.
There's one that kind of wants me to do it myself. What do I need?
Or hire someone else to do it.
Hire, yeah,
Right. Spend
hire
your money.
someone. Right. So my mom and I, we met up when we went to this convention, and there's both the guys there. And so, you always check with mom. Rochelle would have called it anyway. And I said, well, mom, I said, what do you think? And he says, oh, well, that one guy, he says, boy, he's a sharp guy. He's sharp. Look at him. He's a good looking guy. Well put together. And then here comes Jeffrey around the corner and, hello, Miss Ward. He shook her hand and kissed her hand. He says, now that guy right there, he's into looking out for people. The other guy's in it for himself.
Yep.
My mom called it. My mom called it. He was more accommodating. So the guy I married was more accommodating, showed my mom respect and honor. The other guy was about himself. Mom always knows.
Always.
Mom always knows. So I didn't choose the shiny penny.
So
but I will tell you, before
Yeah.
you say something, Michelle, if I had been 18 or 19, you know what I would have chose, don't you?
Of course.
Of course.
The shiny penny.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
A shiny penny.
Right.
So
because,
go ahead.
No. Because
So in all the years that you've been together, prior to meeting your husband, when you first met your husband, it was serious. Everybody talks about it today, that it's one of the most uncomfortable conversations to have, and that's about money. Now you're in the financial as well.
Yes.
Yes,
Part of
yes.
what you do.
Yeah. So
Yes.
how do you handle that, or what kind of advice would you give somebody
Okay.
as
Good
far
question.
as thinking about that? Yeah.
Because it is.
Good
Can you
que- okay.
imagine
Yeah.
meeting someone not knowing what their financial pictures, and you
Yeah.
dive in and you're like, holy shit, this guy is $1 million.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to be
Yeah.
very transparent here. Very, very transparent. So, of course, when we're young, none of us are, making a lot of money. So my first marriage, I had a really good job. My husband, kind of, and he started a business. That divorce cost me but when I was the one that got financially burned in that divorce, because through our 20 years of marriage, we were married 20 years, I had secured a really good job. I had a pension, I had a 401k, I had all that. And my ex-husband didn't. So I had to pay him. You understand? So when I say your decisions matter, they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've seen countless women today be in that same position where they're the major breadwinner and the husband isn't, and they're they're feeding him.
Yeah.
So this time around, before we had that financial discussion.
Yeah.
What do you bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? And we had a prenup.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
We did. And he understood. It kind of hurt him a little bit, because he says, Sabrina, I'll never take anything from you.
Yeah.
And I says, I believe you, the person that you are right now. But I don't know who you're going to be tomorrow.
But you also learn from your past.
Yes.
But you also learn from your past.
Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes people something happens mentally.
Yep.
Or they flip out, or they
never
meet
know.
someone that turns their head and they're doing a 300,
I always thought, this is what I always thought. I always thought, like what you're saying, like your husband said, it was a little weird at first,
it was weird.
Weird. But I always think if someone really, really is in it for the right reasons, they'll say, sure. Because they don't care.
Right.
It's not their care.
Yeah,
they
and he didn't care. He says, I'd never take anything from you. It's like I said, it kind of hurt him, but he signed it anyway. But I will tell you now, I had a coworker. We were getting married at the same time. So we were like, check the box, this, that, and the other. So why are you doing a prenup? And this was a male. And he says, well, I brought it up and she just got all upset. She just got upset about it. He says, I didn't want to hurt her feelings, and he let it go. So guess what happened?
Big mistake.
Inside of 3 years, they were divorcing. And she wanted everything she could from him and then some.
I bet. And he's probably thinking.
He says, I wish I had signed that prenup. I said, yeah, but you got caught up in her feelings, because she was just so upset. How dare you? But like you said, Alicia, her intentions were good, she wouldn't have been upset about it.
Exactly.
Right.
Because it's no big deal. If you
Right.
really love someone, then you'll support them.
Correct.
You'll
Right?
support them. And so my husband signed it. He was like, I'm not going to take anything from you. But now here's a financial lesson. Alicia, you're a businesswoman. If you met someone right now, you have assets.
Yeah.
You have assets. You have to protect your assets.
100%.
And it will be in your best interest. And there's two, but your best interest to get a prenuptial agreement signed. Because if you don't, the law says he's entitled to half of what you have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No,
I did.
I did. Well, half. Yes,
You
I
knew.
did. I did.
Oh,
know.
yes. Oh,
I
yes. In the state of Florida, it goes by state, but it's a community state. Half of your bank account, half of your business, half of your house, they're entitled.
Yes, they
Wow.
are.
They
That's
are entitled to
incredible.
that.
I know.
There are laws that protect that person. So,
I know who I'm calling.
yeah, call me.
Sabrina.
I can coach you. Let me tell you. I will tell you. And if you can't worry about feelings.
No.
No.
And money is a funny thing. You said
Yes,
it, right?
is.
Money's a funny thing. People get really weird.
They get
when it
weirded
comes to
out by
money.
it.
I mean, wow. Like
They do.
even people that have tons and tons and tons and tons. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
You have to protect
With
it.
the father with the house, that he's still angry.
Oh God.
It's so
He's that angry.
He's
Yeah.
because he thinks that he shouldn't have given me, and I'm thinking, are you crazy? It's the law.
It's the law. It's the law. And let me clarify the law too, because we get caught up in this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whose name it's in. So I'm going to put that out there right now. Let's say I have something that's let's say I have a credit card that's in my name.
Correct.
But I'm married to my husband and we divorce. He is still responsible for half of that credit card, even though it's not in his name.
Interesting. If you're married, not if you're
If you're married, only if you're married. Only if you're married, you're still responsible because all of that occurred during the marriage.
But what if you have a prenup?
If you have a prenup, no. So there's two things that can help with that. You have a trust. You can have a trust. A trust protects everything. So you can actually, if you didn't think about a prenup before you got married, you can do a trust. But you and your mate or whatever have to be in alignment with that, and you have to know the laws. There are certain laws about houses, but not so much businesses and things like that. But if you do a trust protects, then your will be done. A trust overrides a will. So you got a will. Your will is part of your trust. Wills can be challenged. A trust cannot.
I've heard that a lot. I've heard that with a lot of different people. Like they challenge the will.
Yes.
And people win. Yep.
They do.
But a trust cannot be challenged.
Because everything is pretty much black or white.
It's
correct?
black and white. Yeah. It's like a padlock on it. You put a padlock on it.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm going to do as a financial coach, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not giving any advice. This is for education. I have to say this is in my book too. This is for educational purposes only, and seek the advice and a counsel from an estate attorney, a divorce attorney, financial advisor. But these are my personal experiences. They're lived experiences. And I got the battle marks to prove it. And I know what laws apply to me. But when you're talking like this, you don't want someone to walk away and say, well, she told me to do this.
100%.
Correct.
I love the clarity.
So I always put a disclaimer that, what we're trying to do is provide information so that you can take this information and talk to a professional. I'd be more than happy to talk to someone offline within my license. What I do is a license in financial services, and there I am well versed in what I do and the things that require an attorney and things of that nature. Then I refer you to those types of people.
And the name of your book.
Yeah.
Bring that. You have your book.
Also, the name of my book. Yeah. Hindsight to Insight. And I don't know if you see it because this is okay. There it is. Hindsight to Insight. Money between family and friends.
Yep.
I call this the Bible of financial life. The Bible.
And where can they get that? On Amazon?
On Amazon, Hindsight to Insight, Money Between Family and Friends. It's on Amazon. I have an audiobook coming out soon.
Oh,
That's awesome. I love audio.
Audiobook
Me
coming
too.
out soon. So I'm working on that. And it's really nice to hear the book now. You know, I
Yes,
wrote it, I
alive.
read it,
Yeah.
and to hear it, it really feels good. And this is practical. This is not a talking head book.
Yeah.
This is my experiences in life, good and bad, because you can't teach people from good experiences.
It's true.
You
know,
have
it's
to have the bad experiences to teach.
Of course. And I remember when we were talking to you about the financial stuff and
Yes.
the coaching, and I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Because it's simple things that most people are not educated, because you said
It
it
is
before. You're
education.
educating people.
I'm educating people. So I've spoken at universities. I've spoken at a university in India. It was online. No, I was not over there. It was virtual. I've spoken at colleges here in Florida. And now my book is in a local college in the library. So it's there to be checked out by
Oh,
the
there you
staff.
go. We have it
Yep,
going
we
across
have
the
it. There you go.
screen.
Nim took care
Thank
of you
you.
there.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
My book is going to be in more colleges. I'm in libraries and colleges. So I feel
think
really
that's
good
good.
about that I have a hand in financial literacy education, that people can learn and grow and make the wisest decisions, because there's some marital situations in there too. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to help you make some of
Yeah.
those choices.
Absolutely.
I-
Yes.
The work you do is so important.
Oh my God.
It's so important to educate people in this arena. And, you know, money, it goes into every area of your life.
Yep.
You know, I see people that have so much money and they are so miserable.
Yes.
So miserable.
So
I know plenty
miserable.
too.
Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me? And they're cheap.
Oh,
They are very cheap.
it's just mind blowing to me.
I had
Really.
a good friend and he had a lot of money and he was so cheap. And I called him out. I said, "You're a cheap." "I am not." I says, "Yes, you are. It's
Mhm.
almost uncomfortable being around you. You're so cheap."
Yeah, and again, you know, it's funny because they've created so much wealth, but yet they
Yeah.
still have they still have a limited way of thinking around giving,
Yes,
which
yes.
is interesting that they've created all that wealth on the outside of them, but they never created the wealth inside of them.
Inside, exactly.
That's where
And
it
that's
starts.
where you're happiest.
Yes.
Not the freaking, you die, you don't take it with you. You
Yeah.
got to give it to your kids or give it to
Whoever,
somebody that
yeah.
you left it. You're not
Never
taking
seen
it with
anybody
you.
take it with them. Never.
So
But I do want to say this. You know, I talk about wealth building in here, and wealth is not filthy, stinking rich. Wealth is having your financial security number, knowing that and living inside of that. That's wealth. And everybody's capable of living a financially comfortable life, but it starts with making the right decisions as early as possible. It starts with talking to people like myself who are financial coaches that can help you, because you really don't know. And if you wonder if you do, look at your finances.
exactly. It's
I
true.
had to look at mine. I says, "Girl, you didn't do the right thing."
Yeah.
I was in a good position where I could save $600 a month many years ago. Many years ago, I didn't have a lot of the burden. So $600 a month, and every time I saved it and I got up to a couple $1,000s, I was taking a trip somewhere. Well, we calculated that if I had continued to save that money, and I think I told you ladies this,
Yep.
I would have $4 million today.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Just for
Amazing.
saving $600. $4 million. But
Amazing.
nobody taught me to do that.
I know.
Nobody
Yeah.
told me to keep saving it. I just would save it and spend it. No,
Go on,
I wasn't taught.
Yeah.
Keep your hands off your money. You don't need to have access to it. Let it ride, Clyde. So they say.
Let it ride, Clyde.
I love it.
Let it
I
ride,
like that.
Clyde.
So before we end, it's gone by
I
so
know.
quick.
And this
I
was just such
know.
great
And we love you so much.
conversations, and
But since it's Mother's Day coming up,
which
what-
is Sunday.
Yeah. What was the thing that, if you were to say about your mom that you learned from her, What was it that you learned from her?
I was just thinking about this the other day. My mom has a big, I hear my baby barking.
She scared the heck out of me. Oh my
My
God.
mom is a big forgiver.
Mm,
So I learned forgiveness from my mother. There are people that did things to her and she still helped them when they needed help. And I would say, Mom, why are you doing this for that person? They treated you this way and they treated you that way. As she's sitting down writing out a check, maybe for some groceries because they were hurt. She says, because you know what, I'm still going to do the right thing. I am going to do the right thing, what feels right in my heart. And I just can't worry about that. And I thought, wow, I wish I could be like my mom because I wanted people to pay for their crimes.
Yeah.
And but my mom still gave, even when she wasn't getting anything back, she did the right thing. And to me, she's the best mother in the world. Now I find myself doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
I find that I just have to overlook some things about people and situations and do the right thing when I'm called upon to do the right thing. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
somebody's going to hurt me. I'm going to turn around and give them $1 million.
Right, of course.
But if they're hungry, if they're sick, if they're cold, if they're and I'm in a position, you might have scorned me, but I'm not going to let you starve.
Yeah,
If
and
I got $5, you're getting the $5.
Yeah, and you rose higher is
yeah.
what you've done.
Yes.
And that's such a
It's
gift
fabulous.
because, I think it was even Michelle Obama said it. When they go low,
You
I go high.
There you go.
And that's exactly
Yep, that's what she said.
she taught you.
Yeah.
Is they're going low, you go higher. Because it's not to say that we don't go low, but we rise higher because
Yeah.
we know better. We know that that's not
Together,
going to make us feel good.
together we rise. That's what
Yeah,
it
we
is.
together we rise. What a way to end!
Hello.
I
Woo!
think that's a good way to
Together we
put that.
rise.
Together we rise. And
Yeah.
again, it doesn't mean that you want someone to walk all over you and you put this on
No.
your back.
Absolutely.
That's not what I'm saying because I'm not going
No.
to tolerate that. But it does mean that I have a humanitarian spirit.
Yes.
You sure do.
You
That's what
absolutely
that
do.
means.
Yes.
And that in itself is amazing. That
Yeah.
in itself
And that's a whole, topic that I love to some other time get into, why women especially think that they have to hold so tight onto
Yes.
their stuff, and they
Yes.
don't even realize what the gifts are by opening their heart and supporting others. There's so many women that I see presently that just won't do that. And it's sad. It really is sad because they're missing out.
yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are missing out because you
Yeah.
know what? And you've heard this said, nothing can go in a closed fist.
That's so true.
So you can't put
Right.
anything in
That
it.
is so
That's
true.
right.
Closed
That is
fist. So
so
if you're hanging on to your stuff that you think's all that, then you're blocking your own blessings.
That's so true.
And nothing will come through with a
Nope.
closed fist. That
Nope.
is for
Right.
sure.
Nothing. You gotta
So
have an open hand.
yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
so, with this open hand and open heart,
Yay.
we are so, so, so honored that you spent this time with us
Yeah.
educating people on really just how to look at finances and how to
Yes.
really be responsible. is
And your
really-
story.
And your story. and
that
what
just
you-
leads up to your lessons and how you have gone past that from
Yes.
all the lessons you've learned and how now you're helping others.
And
What a
we
gift.
know that
What a
that's
gift.
why we
What a
do
gift.
this because
Yeah.
people watch this and God willing, they get a piece of wisdom from whoever's speaking today, from
From
you,
listening to you.
and they could take that and use it.
Well,
and
you're
make
so
their life better.
genuine. The mother-daughter duo. I mean, I fell in love with this duo when I met them. So authentic, so real, and so needed. Relationship healers, shadow work. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
So needed. So you're genuine. Keep doing what you do. The world needs a dynamic duo. They really do.
Aw,
So
thank
many
you.
broken relationships. This
Yeah.
is so
Yeah. Chloe's having a field day.
Yeah, she is.
So we're going to say good night. We
Good
love
night, Chloe.
you.
love you.
Chloe just wants attention. She
That's
wants to
it.
be loved too.
Yes,
You know?
she
Yes.
does.
Well, I met Chloe. I love
Yes,
Chloe.
you have.
No,
Yes, you have.
She enjoyed meeting you
But
guys.
just to let you know how special you are to us, and you really are. So we thank you for being in our life as well.
Yes.
Well, I love you, ladies. I look forward to doing this dance again. We had a great time.
Yes, we
And
did.
let's keep rising.
Let's keep rising
Yep,
up.
we're
We
gonna rise.
love you.
We love
Love you too.
Mwah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.